Hi everyone, this is Dr. Kingston, and in this video we are going to be talking about the roles and goals of the endocrine system. Our goals for this video are to describe the endocrine system and discuss the ways it regulates the body, maintains homeostasis. Then we're going to spend a little bit of time comparing and contrasting those roles to our other regulators, especially our autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. All right, so as we're getting started here, it is important to define exactly what the endocrine system is. So I find that this is typically the system that most people are the least familiar with in all of anatomy. And what I want you to think of when you think of the endocrine system is that it is a regulatory system for your organs, so a visceral regulatory system. It can have effects on smooth muscle, on your metabolism, so how fast you're burning energy, growth and development, reproduction, all of those very important things. It's going to work hand in hand with the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems to maintain internal homeostasis. So I say homeostasis, and I hope you have an idea by now of what that is, but just in case you don't, let's just take a little tootle through here. So homeostasis is the maintenance of a dynamically stable system through internal regulatory processes. And this is a very fancy way of saying that homeostasis is a way of keeping your body happy. Your body likes to exist in a certain range of things, and when you stay within that range, you are maintaining homeostasis. All right, so let's pop this line on here. Let's call this line absolutely ideal. Okay, but our bodies are pretty happy a little range away from that. So let's call this the optimal zone here. We can handle a little bit of fluctuation in and around this zone. But when something comes in and disrupts the system too much, we end up outside of that optimal zone in what we're just going to call the bad place, okay? These disruptions can be any number of things. They can come from the outside, so maybe this is an injury, maybe you stubbed your toe, maybe you have indigestion from something you ate, or maybe you're too cold, too hot, all right? Can also be something happening internally, so maybe a chemical imbalance, maybe you're having issues with digestion, or maybe your blood flow is being impeded by blockages or arterial sclerosis, something like that. All right, so that's a disruption. In order to counterbalance that disruption, your body is going to try to adjust itself to account for that and bring itself back into homeostasis. When we talk about these adjustments, this might be, again, something external, so activating your muscles, taking a rest, sweating to cool yourself down, or it could be something going on internally, so maybe something in your digestive tract producing a secretion or pushing food through with peristalsis, that kind of thing. Anything that throws your body off of its normal functioning is going to be a disruption, and anything your body does to pull itself back can be thought of as an adjustment in this case. All right, so why do we need a whole other system to do this? What makes the endocrine system different? Well, number one, it is a humeral system. So you have to kind of liken this term to when we used to think of the four humors. We had blood, phlegm, yellow bile, black bile. It was a load of nonsense, but we still use the word humeral. And in this instant, we are applying it to mean specifically communication through the blood vessels, okay? Humeral system communicates through the blood. And the messengers it uses to communicate here are called hormones. And these are little chemicals that are secreted by different glands and different viscera and taken into the bloodstream. The kind of upshot of this is that the hormonal communication system is very much a kind of message in a bottle system. And what I mean by that is, so let's say we're having a little hormone here coming from our adrenal gland. So I'm going to draw our adrenal gland on here. In order for the adrenal gland, let's say, to send a message up to the heart, okay, so let's say we're going to dump a bunch of adrenaline here. That has to go into the vein, into the vena cava, sorry, and flow all the way up here just to get to the heart. If that is being sent further out, it's still got to come up into the heart, and then it gets pumped out, let's say, into one of the arteries here going to the arm. All right, so these have to travel quite far in order to get where they're going. All right, so let's do a little side-by-side comparison of some of our regulatory systems here. We're going to look at the somatic nervous system, so our motor and sensory nerves to the periphery. We're going to look at the autonomic nervous system. This is going to be including both sympathetic and parasympathetic. These are going to our organs, so we have visceromotor innervation there. And then we'll look at the endocrine system on the end in the blue here. And this is going to function via stimulation or inhibition of different organ processes or gland processes. All right, so let's start taking a look at what these influence. Your somatic nervous system is going to act on and influence your external environment. So this means you would use your somatic nervous system to tell something on the outside of your body to work. So this is moving your limbs to escape something, or to move your hand away from something that's dangerous. All right, so take those as examples there. The autonomic nervous system and the endocrine system are both going to influence your internal environment. So these are both systems that are going to be working on your internal organs only. As far as how these are affecting the structures that they are acting on, the nervous system, so both somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system, have very localized effects. And this is because you have a nerve or a pathway of nerves that stretches directly from your brain down to the target that they're innervating, right? They don't affect anything outside that specific target. The endocrine system, though, can have long distance effects. So again, we're using that message in a bottle metaphor here. Those hormones are traveling all throughout the body, and they may, in fact, jump onto a receptor at some place that is not the specified target here. Okay, so these being chemical signals have many little sockets that they can fit into. So pushing out one hormone can have effects on multiple different organs. All right. The nervous system, again, and I know you guys had a whole session on this, so I won't go too much into detail here, but these are going to be communicating via neurotransmitters. And neurotransmitters are the chemicals jumping in between synapses, right? So from one neuron to the next. The endocrine system, as I was saying here earlier too, communicates via hormones traveling through the bloodstream. Now there actually isn't too much difference between hormones and neurotransmitters, and sometimes the same chemical can function as both, and we'll talk about that when we get into some of the more detailed description of them here. Okay, the range of time that these systems can act across has to do, again, with how they're traveling. So again, the nervous system traveling, both somatic and autonomic nervous systems are traveling via nerve axons, right? And those impulses travel very quickly, and they last just a short period of time. Think about what happens when you contract a muscle for too long, right? You start getting cramps. So these are meant to function in short bursts. The endocrine system, on the other hand, can function over a long period of time. So one single endocrine gland can continue to secrete hormones for an extended period. Now, that does mean that the speed at which those hormones can work is a little bit delayed. So for the nervous systems, again, we have these functioning at a rapid speed and a moderately rapid speed, okay? So they work very, very quickly. The endocrine system, because it's traveling through the bloodstream, is much slower, All right, you need time for your gland to secrete the hormones, and then you need time for them to work their way through systemic circulation to get where they're going. All right, so I hope this helps you organize your thoughts here on endocrine system versus different aspects of the nervous system. And this is going to bring us to the end, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.